Welcome to the Low and Slow podcast.
We're your girls, Crystal and Laken. If you press play today, trust, you made the right decision.
And know, whenever you're listening to this, it's exactly the right time.
We invite you to pull up a seat to the conversation, get curious about your current perspective,
and lean in for the opportunity to see yourself in another woman's story.
We created That Girl Magic because we've been where you are.
Here, the talk is real and the breath is steady.
Let's get into your next mindset shift. Welcome back to the Low and Slow podcast. You guys are getting us in post-retreat Costa Rican energy. Lake, how we feeling?
Oh, very Costa Rican princess.
Very Pura Vida. We are bringing you guys back. Like, you might as well have just traveled in our suitcase with us, observed what was going on there, and then you're going to feel like you're there after today's conversation because, gosh, you guys have been digesting the last couple episodes that we've had for you, and there's just been some magic that was happening over there. The women who were there, they came in and they left feeling completely different. And with each one of our clients that have asked us, I was like, how was it? All the things. It's like, guys, it was intimate and it was intentional and it was expansive. And it really was like, I think when you say yes to yourself to go to one of these things, you don't really know what to expect. And then you get there and you're like, oh my God, this is what was all that was available to me. I didn't even realize what I was saying yes to, you know?
Yeah, I feel like for the women that were there, it's like if you know, you know. And then for the women that weren't, it's like, give us the tea, we want to know. So it's, same. Like I feel like every person that I've talked to, I've, been on repeat. So hence why, it's like, well, let's take it to the pod. And so you can all get the retreat tea.
Right. Yeah. We want to take you into the retreat energy. It was like, when we were designing this retreat, it's like this beautiful arc, Peace.Play.Love, right? And I think one of the main things of like just witnessing these women of like their yes, how they showed up, right? What they left with, what they brought home with them. When we're talking about integration, right? It's like this retreat allowed them to have a new reference point in their body that they did not have if they were not in that room, right? Yeah. If they were not in that place, not in that land. And I mean, the work, when you say yes to going on a retreat, it's happening way before you're even there in the room. Like it happens in the decision, in the payment, on the flight, on the way there, right? It's like each moment there's a piece that's like you're collecting all this new evidence and your body is like digesting, oh, like this is what that felt like. And like for some of these women, this was their first retreat they've ever been on.
Yeah. Yeah. A good amount of them. It's funny because it reminds me of, a conversation that I was having with a training client about pelvic floor engagement. Right. And it's like this kind of frustrating component of like, I don't have a reference point. Like, I don't know, like pre-pregnancy, what this was supposed to feel like, or what the engagement feels like, or what does it feel to, activate my transverse abdominis and like all this stuff. Right. And it's like, okay, well, you don't have a reference point for what that was supposed to feel like beforehand, but you didn't have a reference point for what it felt like to walk and you figured out how to walk, right? You didn't have a reference point for what it felt like to ride a bike and you figured that out. It's like there's firsts that happen all the time. And can we allow ourselves to be a little bit wobbly in that experience and then allow ourselves to bring in a new reference point? So when we get that feedback, when we allow ourselves to have that feeling and then acknowledge it, from there, that's what builds the reference point that we're looking for. That's what, like you said, like has a new baseline to work from for, in this case, for the nervous system.
Yeah. And it's like if we only can go off of the information we already have, which is stored in our nervous system. And until we give ourselves a new experience, it's like every woman who was there allowed themselves to experience something different for the first time, whether it was on the adventure day, whether it was in a workshop, whether it was just, I mean, we had this moment of being at like a girl's sleepover and we got tattoos and like just like fucking cool shit.
Which was not on the original itinerary.
Yeah, which is like sometimes that's okay, right? It's like and like I think what's special about that is like each woman, and in a lot of conversations I've had, like every client that I've worked with this week, I even told them it's intentional. It's aligned that I was meant to meet with you after this retreat, right? Because there's something here that you need, like, not that you need to hear, but that you get to experience from me and in our session, right? That allows you to even like have a little straw and suck up a little bit of that Costa Rican magic. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's like this reference point that is a new, we know where our baseline is. We know what's here, but until we experience something different, it's like, oh, this is how that felt. Like, oh, how can I digest what happened here and also have reference point of what that feels like, but, you know, without my normal day-to-day around, without any distraction, when all the focus is on me. And then that's the thing that as that's digesting and marinating over those 7 days we're together, that when you take back with you, that is your reference point now. Like that is your evidence. And to even hear from some of the women of like, you know, people are noticing that like, gosh, you're in such good energy and like, oh, you're happier. And, you know, how was, you know, people even ask you like deciding to go on this trip also becomes, I'm not saying it becomes a part of your identity, but it's a huge yes. Like everyone who knew that you were going on this retreat knew, and they're asking you afterwards, how was the retreat?
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, it comes now a part of your experience, which it's just very special.
Yeah. Like if you didn't know how good you can feel, right? It's like putting glasses on for the first time. It's like, oh, I didn't know I could see this clearly. You know, and you don't know until you know. And then when you experience, you're like, I'm not going back.
Yeah, you're
That
like,
was
I
terrible.
love it.
Yeah.
I love this new reference point. Like add this. It kind of makes me think of like when you try a new recipe and you're like, add that one to the dinner rotation of like, let's get that in the meal prep because I like this one. Like my stomach liked this one. I liked how I felt. Right. What was your favorite part of the retreat? Like, I don't know. I feel like today we're just riffing, y'all. So if you're here, we're going to like pack you in the suitcase, take you through what that looked like. But like, you're also going to just hear like both of our perspectives too of just, you know, we've been in these women's seat of experiencing a retreat. And this is exciting that it's like, oh, we put so much heart and soul into what we wanted to create for these women here. And just to like hear the feedback and to be able to like, witness this in each other too, of like how this went. It's just, it's exciting.
Yeah. I think my favorite, well, I have like a favorite part as far as what happened there. And then I have a favorite part of like the thing that I witnessed as a takeaway. And like my favorite part in action while we were there, it was the tattoo sleepover, right? Because it's like to me,
Have it to prove it.
Yeah, to me, it's like those unplanned, magical in between moments that create like a level of connection or intimacy that just happens naturally. And that's like the magic, right? It's not engineered. It's not intended to happen that way. It's like, oh, it just happens, and it's really beautiful to see that unfold in a really natural way with women who probably don't allow themselves that in their regular day-to-day environment. And that goes into my second most favorite piece is, and some of the feedback that I've gotten from a couple of my clients that were there is like, you know, we talk about all the time of women being able to see a version of themselves in another woman's story. And for these women, like we said before, everybody was there for a reason, right? There was a reason why that specific group of women went. But the fact that these women were able to resonate so deeply with each other or share emotional real estate in a way that they didn't think that they could, or be able to cultivate these deeper connections with women that in their regular day to day, they probably wouldn't even think that that was an option or possible, right? Of, oh, like I may meet that woman with judgment, or I may meet that woman with intimidation, or I may be fearful of what that woman is thinking about me, right? It's like that mask and that performance that's always in place. And that when that gets stripped away, being able to see women from completely different walks of life with completely different, you know, personal views about certain things, be able to come together and really see each other fully. That's my favorite part of like, oh, you know, a comment of, I had some of the deepest conversations that I've ever had with anybody, with a woman that I had just met, and a woman that honestly I never even thought I would be friends with in real life. And I just talked to her for 2 hours on the phone the other night. Like, they're besties now, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
that's very cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the shit that like you didn't sign up for that reason. You didn't say
Right.
yes to yourself for that reason. And like you didn't even know you were going to get that, but that was that's the added magic. That's the whipped cream and the cherry on top that like if you allowed yourself to experience that and be in the room, that is available to you when you put yourself there. And like, you know, to jump off some of your favorite points of like, yeah, like when's the last time, for everyone listening, when's the last time you were in a huge fucking bed with your girlfriends, okay? You have someone coming to this private fucking beautiful ass villa in the mountains that's like specifically all there for you and your girls. You're well taken care of. You just had a bomb ass meal and a great ass evening. And like, you're there with your girlfriends and you're like talking about the tattoo you're going to get. And then it's not your turn yet. And you're sharing a story back from like this experience that you had. And you're literally like little kids that's staying up late. Like all the parents have gone to sleep and you're like little girls are all there with each other. Just nobody wants to go to sleep yet because you're not, yes, maybe it's late and should you go to sleep? Maybe, right? But like for once in our fucking lives, who cares about the rules? And
It's like pure YOLO energy.
yeah, yeah. And it's just like, oh, like, what are you going to get? And like, oh, we're fucking playing heads up while we're waiting for the next woman to be done. And it's like, you know, and it, like when you were saying, it's like, it's not fabricated. Like it wasn't on the itinerary, all of that. But it's like, sometimes we don't need it to be like, that is the stuff that's the flow. That's the fun. That's the, joy that like one of my favorite parts is that, gosh, when you get a group of women into one space, like how much can come from that, whether that be breakthroughs, insights, emotional vulnerability, permission, right? Like authenticity, like just like it's like this creating this like, if you just grab the pot and put in all the right ingredients of these women, it's like, God, that soup's about to taste really fucking good, you know? Yeah. And it's like, just to be able to, like, there's no cookie cutter version of like who was meant to be here, right? We don't want the same copy paste versions of ourselves in the same room because until we get in front of something that's new, in front of something that maybe is, a similar lived experience, but in a woman's completely different body, it's like each woman by their wisdom of their own body had so much magic and like, value and, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, so much potency to bring to the container by just being themselves. And I think like what's special, and when you're saying of like allowing women to, you know, be around people who maybe they would have never been friends with prior or like hung out with or had conversations with, like there's no armor. Right? Yeah. There was like, oh my God, I can just witness the woman in front of me. And I vividly remember this in my workshop of like, we were doing let's set the scene for y'all. We're in the yoga shala. Okay. It's probably one of the hottest days that we're there, but who cares? And we're sitting neat. Have every woman, we're sitting in a circle and I tell the women, you know, turn to your partner and want you guys to sit knee to knee. And we were doing a gazing activity where with no words, there was just music with no words in that, just like sounds. And we have like, you hear the nature, right? Like what we're talking about the retreat, it's not forced. That was nature at work. Like women all in the same room is nature at work. And everyone's sitting knee to knee and they're just looking. They're just staring. Like here, I'm staring into your eyes right now, like staring at each other and not saying anything. And whatever comes, whether that's laughs or tears or, like, what are some of the other things? I'm getting ahead of myself. What else did we see? Like, just like you could
discomfort.
Yeah. Like the uncomfort of like, oh my God, she's staring into my fucking soul right now. You know? What else? Like they're just laughter. Yeah. Like they're really, for the first time, like the exercise we did before where they were looking at a picture of their younger version of themselves. They're taking a look in the mirror at themselves, but a different version. And then now they're sitting across from another woman that is also a woman, but is not a version, is not them, right? It's like a woman in her own body, in her own experiences, in her own life, but there's something that they're aligning in here. It's like this invisible, like mime kind of situation, you know? And then at the end of that, I remember telling them, like, after the gazing was over, it's like, I know that you may have something that you want to say to that woman across from you right now, but I want you to do me one favor. And I remember saying it, and I knew it was going to like break the group's mind of like, I just want you to swallow it. And it's like, oh, like what? Like, what is even that? And then it's like, wait, I don't get to tell her? Like, what do you mean? And it was powerful because it's like so often we are wanting to sometimes say something outwardly, but it's like there's sometimes such a message in just looking in the mirror or like witnessing someone else in something that it's like you get a message for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And I think like that was one of my favorite parts throughout the entire retreat because like that is the magic that we get to do with women. Like that is women's work. Like women all have their own body that is their internal compass that it's like, gosh, when we just get around each other, we can learn so much from another woman, but then also know that we have so much like within ourselves that is of value. And like to see that in 8 different women, well, 11, including us, right? Is it 11, 8, 9, 10, 11?
12. Yeah. 11. Yeah.
11, including us. I'm like, wow. And then even like the women that we also brought in, right? Like we had like Sarah who did the yoga, right? And then we had, Kat for the art therapy. I'm about to call her Kiki. And then Mary and, what is her other name? Hold on, it's coming. Carolina. Yeah.
Yes.
Mary, Carolina, like the women that were in the kitchen that were helping our chef, right? It's like
Javier.
Javier. Shout out to Javier. There were so many other women that were like Chelsea, the live music, right?
Yeah.
That was like
Maddie.
Maddie. Oh,
Natty.
Yes. Sorry.
Our
so
tour
many
guide,
women
she
that
was
were
so great.
contributing to the magic.
Yes.
That was my favorite part for sure.
Yeah.
Did I leave out any other woman? Hold on. I have to like, wait a second. Natty, who else? I think that was it.
And Lau.
Oh, Lau. That was the other woman. Yes.
Yeah.
Laura. Shout out to her.
Yeah. For the sound healing.
Mm-hmm. And like men also too, like being, okay, let's just talk about that for a second, right? It's like the women that are adding to that magic, but then so to have examples of men that were there to serve and not serve as in like a servant, but like add to the experience of just like making this container for these women, everything that they needed it to be. Like they could receive even from men in this way, right? They could like value that, like the masculine presence that was there, right? But they were so in their feminine to be able to like receive that too. Like even just with Javier, I mean, how many of these women are the ones that are cooking all the time and things at home? And it's like,
right.
Wow, I didn't have to think out any of my fucking meals.
Yeah.
I got to say, like, decide what I wanted when it was served.
Yeah.
Like I was on some Bridgerton shit here.
That's what I miss the most.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What do you miss the most besides the food?
Oh, well, that is for sure. I miss not having to think about food.
Dude,
like
not
having to think about going to the grocery store, figuring out what I want to eat, what's in the ingredients for the things that I'm buying, like all of it. I miss so badly. Just like, it was so funny because like, it just reminds me of like a little kid, you know what I mean? Like when you talk to them and you're like, what are you having for dinner? And they're like, I don't know. Like, I just show up. And it's like, yes, like it was so nice to just be like, I don't know what we're having. I'm just about to show up and know that it's delicious and it meets all of our dietary restrictions and it's local and, you know, from the earth and amazing. And it's beautifully curated and it's going to be plated and look amazing as well. And I can't wait.
Yeah. I miss how honestly, I mean, I feel great here, right? Like right now, especially after it's like, right. I feel great, but there's a difference of like waking up there, the monkeys. I mean, I am not an early riser, guys. Okay. I'm not. Laken knows this about me. Now I can be, right? But I love my sleep too. It's like, and in the morning I like to I'm like a sloth. I'm a slow morning, you know? But to be honest, really, I was up at like, and mind you, the time change and things, but I was up at like 5:30 every day there. And that actually felt good. Why? Because I'm telling you, the environment there is very different than what we experience here. Everything is slower. It's like tranquilito. You wake up, you do this, blah, blah, blah. Like, the fact that the monkeys were a part of my tarot pool every day in the morning, it's like, I don't need music. I don't need Alexa. I needed nature. I needed my like what your nervous system felt while you were there. That's what I missed the most. And it's like, again, because we have that previous reference point of like, how do I create that even more here? And I have practices in place to do so, but just to experience that there was a way of living there that supports that is accepted, that is encouraged, right? That is like not so stress induced all the time.
Yeah, I definitely miss the nature.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you were nervous about beforehand? If anything.
Nervous about beforehand. I would say, I mean, I know the day that I had my workshop, there was like, maybe, okay, this is the thing. I think it's the maybe nerves around like things that may happen that you can't control, right? And like before my workshop, yeah, there was something that happened that I could not control. But you, in that moment, and like even us arriving at the retreat, right? Like in that moment, you have to surrender. And I think like when nerves come up like that, for me, that's been something I've been working on where I may have been, it's like I'm not anticipating that something would go wrong, but if there was something out of my control, there would be nerves on like, in the moment, am I going to, like, how am I going to handle the course correct? And in the moment, it's like, yeah, and I handled that shit and we did it and it's fine, you know? But I think it's like beforehand, like even, I hit my knee, right? And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to be nervous that I'm not going to be like where 100% I need to be for my workshop. And it's like, actually release all that shit, because it's like how you show up on your workshop is exactly how you're meant to show up. And when you did that, like it went great, right? I think it's the nerves is the anticipation of the thing that hasn't even happened yet, and where does that come from? It's like a lot of women can resonate with that. Like you're not nervous to do the thing, but you're nervous beforehand because of all like the anxiety and the anticipation before.
Yeah, all the like, what ifs.
Right. How can you meet all of that different? So it was just like, I don't think there's anything specific, but I think it's like, you know, in anything you're in another country, you're handling and responsible for all these other women. And so it's just, you know, navigating when the nerves come up of like, I definitely met them different than I have before.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What were you nervous about?
Just the time. It's always, I feel like the fucking, it's like, I'm like the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. Just like making sure that we got everything done, right? And that we like got all of the components, because we packed a lot in, and like to maximize the experience for these women, right? Like I wanted them to be able to experience everything that we could possibly offer them in that container. And so that always applies a little bit of pressure. I would say that's probably the only thing that felt a little bit like,
yeah. But I think even in both of our examples of things we were nervous for, like even in myself, what I've witnessed, and then even what I witnessed in you of like, yeah, we can stick to like even if the workshop went a little over, it's like, it was okay to make these adjustments and be in flow, because we're hosting this thing, we're putting this on, right? And it's like, at the end of the day, in us being more in flow, it gave these women of like, even when you're hosting and planning something, like, yeah, not everything's always going to go perfect.
Yeah.
Right. But like, you can adjust and it's not the end of the world. Right.
Right.
And that,
right.
like, you know, in time too, is like, we wanted them to really forget about time. And if everyone else is forgetting about time in the best way that they can, it's like, we're going to be mindful of what is going to happen within this time. But then the times where stuff wasn't planned, that we still found the time to do, like the tattoos or like all the side conversations, or one of the nights, like, I think everyone went to bed and I'm just laying there like by the pool, and I know it's late, but it was nice because I just could be alone for a moment and like absorb I was moon tanning. That's what I like to call it. I was moon tanning, and like, just like things like that where time, I guess like time wasn't it could be the constraint or the issue or the stress or the pressure, but then it could also be like the lesson and the beautiful, like, if we don't white knuckle the time, what happens when we let it go a little bit? And then, gosh, something so cool came out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I would want, like, I think it's a good lesson in that spaciousness is really valuable, right? And like creating more spaciousness to allow for more flow and like,
yes,
more ease.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what I'm saying of like the thing that we could have been, were we most nervous about, right? It's like there was a lesson in that of like the thing we were most nervous about actually wasn't wasn't even anything to be nervous about,
Yeah. What do you feel like surprised you about the group of women? Was there anything that surprised you about them?
That surprised me about them. If you have something, go first, because I have to think about that. I don't think anything. I don't think anything surprised me. I love how much they bonded so quickly. Maybe
that was it. Like it was like how quickly they just like dropped right in. That I have not seen that before that quickly, right? Of like a group of women all from now. Granted, a couple of them had. They don't really know each other, but they've been to a previous retreat together. So they have like one touch point before this 6 months ago. Right. But outside of that, it's not like they know each other. But the fact that all of them really came together and got into like deep conversation and like really resonated with each other and started vibing with each other on that level that quickly, like talking like day one in it, that was surprising to me. I thought it was going to be like a little bit of a longer runway before they were like more open with each other, and they dropped right in. They were ready.
Yeah, I think like that's the thing. It's like, I don't know if that surprised me as much, just because like it's almost like knowing all the players, and then it's like, I know when we get them all in the same room. I mean, energetically, let me just say this too. The container, it's like what I saw all the players through the lens of human design of like, oh, it's a lot of mani-gens and it's a lot of generators. And I was like, oh, they're about to hit it off, like great. And then there's like one projector and then you, the manifester. And I'm like, oh, this is just going to be great. And then just, I guess, to see that unfold, it was like, I wasn't surprised. I was like pleasantly proven right that like, yes, wow, look at this energy, like working together, And I think also too, something to be said when you're saying about some of the women who had been on a previous retreat together. And then also some women who could relate to going through a certain program together, right? It's like, they've seen each other on the Monday night calls, right? And now it's like, oh my God, I get to meet you in the flesh. Like we can relate because we just went through this transformation here and now we're available for what's going to happen here. Yeah. And one of the women that like knew, and none of them, of course, she's going to be the one to like get to know everyone else. Like shout out to Chrissy. Like just, she was like, I don't know anybody, but I want to know y'all, like just fun. Love it.
Yeah. What do you think was the most visible difference? Not like the person's name, but the difference that occurred. Like, what do you think was the most visible difference from like walking in and walking out?
I would say putting some of the weight or the stress down to have it all figured out or to have the answers, right? It was like, God, there was so much that was like the uncertainty and the unknown. And then it's like, when I had this experience, I actually don't have to know any of those answers right now. Like I feel so at ease and excited to like figure out what's next, rather than looking at it as like, I need to figure out what's next. You know what I mean? It was like the pressure cooker, we let off all this steam, and then it was like, okay, it's okay. Whatever's meant to come in here is like, they're excited for it. Like they were more available. Maybe they came a little more like they were already excited to come and experience and drop in, but they were like, it's like maybe if they were closed like this and then they left really open. Like that's the one visual. I think of like a flower, right? And like different times of the day, if you were to leave a time lapse on, it goes to sleep and then it wakes up. And then it's like, but like just to see them come in and be here, and maybe like the second that the unknown went away, like the certainty came in of like, oh, I'm excited about whatever this looks like.
Yeah.
What about for you?
I almost wish that we had like a
I'm like, we got before and afters.
Yeah, I think about like the Miss Congeniality Award, right? Like I almost wish that we had like a Miss Transformation Award, like maybe in the future. I thought about that too. Actually, that's funny because I was thinking about that recently of like, oh, it'd be so cute to do like yearbook style of like most likely to, like for each of the participants, like something moving forward. But yeah, if I were to think about who I would give like a transformation award to, it's like that. What stood out to me was this like complete liberation for this woman of like, I am
we're here on who that is.
Yeah. Like a certain version of myself coming into this container, and I am going to expand to the utmost potential that I can reach while I'm here. And I am leaving a different version of myself when I go. And that was really, really beautiful to witness, and like one of my favorite things.
Yeah, same. And that she's excited for the people in her life to witness that version of her too, because she's now she has that reference point of her, and she's welcomed her back in. Mm-hmm. And now she's so excited to have her people get to know her too. It's like, I think what's underneath all of that is that like, God, I've always known that this authentic version of myself could be here, or like that was here in me. But now that I've accepted that and welcomed her and held her for 7 fucking days, right? Now it's like, I'm so like, I can allow that to be seen by other people too, which is like, so good. Yeah. You know, if you went on the retreat and you're listening, this is something that we can still do in the WhatsApp, you know, like little yearbook superlatives and, you know, a little Miss Congeniality type of vibe. Like, I think that's a fun thing. You know, I was saying this to a client of like, and anytime you do something, you like, it went absolutely great and amazing. And like, we're so happy with it. And it's like, I think there's always open for feedback. There's always open for, the ability to see what, like we had these reference point of these women to see what was most receptive to them, what was needed, what can be created, what can be taken and like gone in a, like done in the same beautiful way, but in that actually allows it to be more of what these women need, because we have this reference point of this retreat, right? Like Peace.Play.Love is this beautiful arc that we created, and it hit. Yeah. And then now it's like, gosh, there's so many other facets of Peace.Play.Love that can happen from this, because now we've seen like what was, what's the word I'm looking for? Like what was absorbed by these women, like what was available here, you know, like it's exciting because like even with Laura, right? Like she has all these previous retreats that she's done. And like now that we've done that with her, it's like, oh my God, like for this, now we've seen what can come from this. And that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
What, I'm like trying to think of another question, but I'm like,
what do you feel like you learned about yourself as a facilitator?
That I can, that I'm meant to do this, and that I can be authentically, fully myself and fully expressed. And, that is the thing that, you know, like I said, we don't want the same cookie cutter, like I'm not trying to make a mini me. That's what it is. It's like, I can meet my clients where they're at and like in facilitating something in a container. But then what I learned as myself as a facilitator is that it's not about like, the word is not trigger. I can activate something in women by being innately myself and then also be available to support them through that. And I think that is something until having this retreat is like, I know that about myself, but then having the space to do that, right? Like in one-to-one, that happens, right? But then in a container, it's like, there's an activation that happens that I'm very excited to support women through by having that experience.
Yeah.
What about for you?
That being like allowing myself to both be seen as an authority in a certain capacity, but also and like just as a person with regular vulnerability is like equally as powerful and more powerful when both can be embodied in a space where like women really need that and they need to see that and they need to experience that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What in the arc of peace, play, love, which do you feel like, I guess let's go one for the container, one for personally yourself, right? I think something I saw like in, any time personally for me, like how I feel when it comes to the way I lead is like, I never want to be on a high horse. I've done all this work and, like we know how the coaching space is out there of like, do you walk the walk? Do you talk the talk? Do you come from like a hierarchical place, right? Like, and with what I observed there is like in this thing, I can be in it with you, right? And I can hold this space and we can be leading you and guiding you. But there's this thing innately within me that was like, we say all the time in session, like, I'm not here to have all the right answers for you. I'm here to really hold up the mirror to you for you to see these answers are within yourself. And it's not about me telling you. It is about you having these moments where you make these connections in your mind, about you telling you, like your body being a part of the conversation where you start trusting and listening to it rather than just someone else that's guiding you. Right. And I think like, for yourself, what was one thing in the Peace, Play, Love arc where for the group you felt maybe, and not to say that specific workshop, but like Peace, Play, Love, which one for the group do you feel resonated most with them? And then which one resonated most for yourself?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think that, the reason that we chose those themes was because they are all equally important. And I think that there was a relevant piece because each of these women are in different seasons or different phases of life or experiencing different struggles or, the common through line or the thread that we were tugging at touched on each of those components and it met each woman in a different way that she needed to receive it. And so I think in that, like, they were all, it was a gift in a different way to each woman as to what they needed,
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. But I'm saying like what, like, I guess maybe if it's not for the whole collective, because again, that's going to be different. But what I mean, like, I guess I'll answer for myself of like in Peace, Play, Love, I think, like the thing, that arc that maybe people were most surprised of is like, we can digest our mind around like peace, right? We can digest our mind around like the play of like what, maybe is or isn't happening. But I feel like the love piece was something where it's like, that was the first time where they heard what love was in that way. That wasn't like, do a face mask and like love yourself more. Like if you just love yourself more, you know what I mean? Like it was like something that in that arc, cause all of them, you're right, like feed all together, but like one, I guess it's a better way to say it is like, it's not one of them. It's like all of them together, like deposited into these women in a very different way.
Yeah.
And like witnessing that, or even just like when it comes to like play, right? Of like, a lot of times people aren't doing this stuff on their day to day, or like they don't have reference point of what that looks like. And then to like with the sleepover, right? It's like that is like a form of it, or like dancing when the live music came of like, when's the last time you just danced with your girlfriends and didn't care what the fuck you looked like? Or there's no like mirrors around or whatever, like, I don't know. I think the arc, like, basically what I'm trying to say is I think we did the arc very well to where there wasn't just one thing, but like collectively and individually, like we could witness in what's happening within these women, and then something happened within ourselves too.
Yeah. I think that was the beauty of the arc or the sequence, right? It's like, if anything, it was probably a lot because concentrated over the course of just a matter of a week. But for them to be able to process the reframing or the messaging or what was intended for them in a way that resonated deeply for them, and then like see how that played into the next thing, right? Of like how peace applies to the other two components, how play applies to the other two components, how love and self-love applies to the other two components, and like the commonalities between them, and like where this continues to show up can be the same struggle, but all three could apply. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's like when we would ask them, like, in each of the workshops, right? It's like you saw the common thread that was similar in both. And then it's like, kind of like what we're talking about, like seeing ourselves in another woman's story of like, well, we understand what exactly that feels like too. And it just was really beautiful to like have each woman have their own experience, but then get so much takeaway from what that art created.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm like, what else? What else should we talk to them about? You know who we forgot in the women? All of the women that for the spa.
Yes.
God, they were all
Sexney.
amazing. What?
Sexney was the spa manager.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what? What was my lady's name? I think it was like Josie. Josie was her name. She was great. Let's actually tell them a little bit about the spa services here, because there's like in a picture, I want you guys to picture you're in the jungle, you're in the Costa Rican jungle, and you go down to where, like, mind you, the spa is literally right down from where your room is. You walk down and it's like, there's like the water falling. There's like, was there tranquil music? I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's like it's indoor. It's all indoor outdoor. The whole location is indoor outdoor except for the individual rooms. Yeah. So it's like you have this amazing view on one side, but there's like each room, quote unquote, is walled off except for the view, right? And so it's like you still have this like intimate setting and like your own private space, but you're looking out, like you're immersed in nature, and
you're immersed in
yeah. It's just, and the jungle sounds, and it's amazing.
There's like, you go in, there's like a little jacuzzi here, and then like each room is like all open, like no closed doors, but it's all private, curtain, like almost like maze, like a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
So that like the air can all flow through.
Yeah. Yes. Like to be getting a massage, to just hearing nature, or just to be sitting in there was a soak tub, and there's like with milk and coconut and flowers, and it's just like, oh my god, just it was so good, so good. Maybe some women got a facial, some women got a body wrap. I got my nails done.
Everybody raved about the scrub. About the scrub.
I know. I think it was like the coffee one that people liked a lot. Yeah.
And I mean, I think that goes to like the location that we selected. It's like, why that location, because you could go anywhere, and that sometimes that's really hard to select. Like there's endless options, right? But the location was very intentional. We wanted something where we could have the entire space and it still feel really intimate, and things would be accessible in close proximity, but had all the things that we needed, and that would allow something that we've talked about before in preparation for this retreat, and is making sure that these women felt very cared for, right? That they could just show up, and that like things were handled, and they didn't, like, nothing was really strenuous, maybe other than the excursion day, but like that everything was available. Yeah. Like that it was, they were taken care of.
Yeah, they were taken care of. They didn't have to worry a little hair on their head. And that's how it felt when you arrived there, because it's like, shout out to Lade, Los Altos de Eros. Like, if that's where we did it, look it up. It's amazing. And like, they know what the land and the culture and the nature brings,
Mm-hmm.
and then they get to match the frequency of that with what they bring in terms of their like boutique hotel and spa, and like they do it exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And like it being in proximity to Tamarindo and just, you know, I mean, the whole shebang, they did amazing.
Well, and the other thing about a property that size is the intimacy of the staff, right? Because the same people that we get to know. And so it does that, that reinforces that safety, that comfort level of like everybody being like, oh, like I know you now. Like I know your name. I saw you yesterday. Like they know you by name. They did a great job with that. Knew everybody by name.
They knew everybody by name. And I remember, you know, it's funny that you say that because it was the day I was setting up for our workshop. I think everyone was going to eat breakfast, and I just like wanted to have some intentional space before my workshop and was like dancing around and just like, you know, setting the energies, like Palo Santo, all the things. And Mary had messaged me and she goes, "Hey, Crystal, I haven't seen you this morning yet." Right. And I was just, and it's funny when you say that, because in the moment I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm just here and I'll be there, you know, shortly, whatever. But it was like, you noticed if they noticed if someone was missing. They noticed if, you know, they weren't at breakfast or whatever, right? Which nobody was never at breakfast, but you know what I mean? Like they cared. There's a lot of intention and care and nurturing there. Like the nurturing, not only by the nature, but by the staff and by the space and by the land too. So yeah.
And we got really, I mean, I don't even want to say lucky, but the weather was great while we were there. You know, like to me, it's better to go during rainy season, especially, you know, because we did the waterfall hikes and things like that. And like the land is just so much more lush and the water is going, and, you know, it's a very, very beautiful, but it does come with the potential for storms. And it maybe rained like twice during the day while we were there. Everything else was just beautiful rainstorms to fall asleep to at night, which was so nice.
Yeah. So. It's like they held off. So it's weird. It's like the weather there was in tandem with allowing people to experience their day and stuff. And it like, let me put it this way. They are never going to make nature an issue. Right. Right. And I think that's what is beautiful. It's like how often we're here. It's like, oh, it's shit weather today or this, and like effects, but it's like, no, nature is being nature, and you can allow nature to be what it needs to be. Like, I don't know. To me, that's like a metaphor of like our internal, like allow your nervous system to be whatever it is. It's okay. Right. Yeah. And like you get to work with it rather than against it. And like, gosh, they work with it there. Like, oh, it's raining. That's okay. We're still living our lives. We're still grateful to be here. You know, like it's not going to prevent us from doing or experiencing anything, which is really beautiful. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to share?
I don't think so. I think I am complete.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot when we return that we are sitting with, and that, you know, I know people have expressed a lot of interest, and we want to shout out our other facilitator, Laura, because she has an upcoming retreat that she is doing in October.
Yeah, Sedona.
Yeah. And I was telling some of my clients that, you know, they're waiting for that 2027, what that can look like, and like all those details. And until that's all ironed out, you know, we really want you to, if there's something where you're wanting to, like you're in this work and you're wanting to give yourself permission to be in a space like this, like my first retreat was a domestic retreat. Like going on an international one, yes, it sets the bar high. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like you're full sending, right? Mm-hmm. But there's something about, it doesn't matter international versus domestic. It's still a yes to yourself. And specifically what Laura has created with the centered retreat, right? It's like, it's in beautiful Sedona, right? Like there's an opportunity there where if this has been pulling at you and you maybe couldn't come to the retreat that just passed, this is worth taking a look at, worth having a conversation about. Yeah. Especially if you're in this work and you're ready to, like the retreat is called Centered. You're ready to come inward, home to yourself, into your center without everything else being a distraction. Like doing this work while you're in your lives, day-to-day lives, is sometimes like challenging, because it's like I'm learning this here and then I'm applying it in real time the second I get back off this call, right? And I think her retreat is 5 days, but there is, if you're a current client, you know, I know that there's, a little special freebie for that of being a current client and being able to take advantage of what that looks like. She has like early bird things going on right now. We'll drop all of that info in the show notes if that sounds like something that is enticing to you. It's honestly worth the conversation, and she's the best person to have the conversation with because she really wants to make sure that it's a fit for you too. You know, she knows what she's created there, and in having the conversation with you, she wants to share what that is, but she also wants to make sure that it's a good fit. And like in the vibe of what I've seen that she has created there is like, gosh, it's really for the person who's doing this work and just needs the breath to like only worry about themselves for a moment. Like 5 days.
Like cultivating your own safety.
Right. And if that means you going to Sedona from here, like that's a lot more achievable sometimes. Sometimes the international is what makes the logistics be like a no, because it's like, you know, all the travel and stuff. And like this way, I mean, Sedona is beautiful and magical in itself. So, you know, just
so if you haven't been.
Yeah. And you have like the red rocks around you. Like, again, I think in any of these retreat spaces, they're intentionally chosen because the location is also doing the magic as well.
Yes.
So we will put all of that info. I know I've shared it with a couple of my clients that I've asked that are like itching after our retreat to like give themselves that experience. And as always, you know, we'll keep you guys updated and drop those links in the show notes. I think that's all. Anything else as we close out?
That is all. As usual, please, please, please make sure that you are subscribed. So wherever you are listening to this now, search for that button on your screen. Stop what you're doing. Find the button. Hit the subscribe. Do it now. Please, please, please. And then also, you know, it means the world to us and it costs you nothing. So please leave a review because it helps us out so much. So hit that 5 stars and tell us something that you really enjoyed about the episode. We'd love to read those. So
yeah. Or like I had a client too tell me that she shared this episode and her husband listened to it, and I was like, we love to hear that. Like, yes, we work with women, but there's a whole bunch of nuggets in here that these men can hear as well. So
yeah, they could definitely learn some things.
Yeah, love. We're back to regular programming next week, but we wanted to share this magic with you guys. And we'll see you in the next episode.
See you next time.
Bye.